what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So I'm so excited to do today's video because I am super pumped after coming back from my trip to Europe. Last week I was in London, England, and a couple cities in Belgium. I was in Brussels and also in Ghent, and so I had an amazing time. I went with my university, so a part of my master's program, kind of like the culminating experience of it all, was to go on a trip to Europe and to learn about higher education abroad. And so my master's degree is in higher education. Most of you know that, but if you don't, that's why I originally went to Europe. And so as a kid, I grew up overseas. I was a military brat, so I moved around a lot. I've said this before, but if you're new, just trying to give you some context. But yeah, I wanted to take the time today to kind of give you guys a lot of the tips and tricks that I learned in the process of kind of figuring out how to pack for Europe, how to adjust to the different cultures and the countries and all that kind of stuff, and kind of what did I need to know and kind of adjust to when I got there. And so I wanted to share kind of the things that I learned and also some tips that I thought I probably should have used before I left. So the first tip is going to be definitely pack light, okay? I have this really bad habit of needing options, and I really didn't need as many options as I thought I would need. And so I already had, out of everybody in the group, the most bags going on the trip, which is not surprising with me, but I definitely should have packed lighter because I couldn't shop as much as I wanted because I had all this stuff in my bags already. So that was like a rookie mistake of overpacking and not packing enough room for an extra bag or extra things that I wanted to buy or whatever. And so that would be my first tip, is to pack light. Second tip is make sure you get your passport way in advance before you go abroad. I know that sometimes the passport process takes a little bit longer. They tell you that you're supposed to get it between 6 to 8 weeks, and there's all these little things that you should know when ordering a passport and all that when you're looking at, you know, going abroad. And it is kind of expensive. It's like $200 or so ish to get a passport and all that stuff. So definitely get that way in advance before you go overseas. And also, when you get your passport, make sure that you make copies of it. Also, make copies of like your debit cards, your credit cards before you leave abroad, because you want to make sure if anything were to happen, if you lose something or whatever, that you have copies of your documents, of your legal documents, especially at home in the States, and also with you when you're traveling abroad. When we're talking about bank cards and all that stuff as well, also let your bank know that you're going abroad, because like for me, I bank with Wells Fargo, and so they actually let you fill out a little form online letting them know like what countries you'll be in, what dates you'll be going, and all that, so they know to authorize those purchases and authorize the card usage. But also they get rid of a lot of the transaction fees, the European transaction fees. So like when I got cash out of the ATM, I got like $20 back in fees from Wells Fargo because they knew that I was going overseas, and they knew that in order to give me those fees back. So just let your bank know that you're traveling so that you don't get charged as much for like getting cash out or different currencies and stuff like that. Also, on the note of bank cards, make sure if you're going to Europe especially, or other countries just in general, use a debit card that has a chip in it. So I didn't realize that a chip is a big deal overseas because it shows authenticity of your bank card or whatever. And so I know all debit and credit cards don't have a chip, but I specifically used my credit card and debit card that had chips in them when I was overseas, because in certain countries it matters more. So like in Belgium, you have to have a chip regardless of where you go if you're trying to use your credit card or your debit card. But in other places it wasn't as like serious, but you may never know, like some of the places that you may go try to shop or purchase food or anything may need that chip. So just for the safe side, make sure you have at least one card with some funds on it that has a chip. My biggest tip and most like clutch situation for my whole trip was this: my hair, protective styling. I did not want to worry about my hair while I was traveling at all. And I mentioned this a little bit in my last video, but seriously, I did not realize how amazing these twists would be overseas when I was like up and running around and trying to just do stuff, and my hair was the last thing that I wanted to worry about. And so these twists were very, very clutch. If you want to see how I did these twists, I have a tutorial here on my channel already. I'll link it here for you guys, but you already know I've posted a lot about these twists and they were just so clutch. So if you could protective style while you're abroad, perfect, because you don't have to worry about bringing product or tools or anything, and it like makes your life so much easier. Bring the right plugs, okay? So there's multiple different plugs that you can use throughout the world, obviously. And so First, I got the wrong plug, so I got these plugs, the two tong ones. This is for more like Brussels or Belgium, Germany, Southern Europe, but they also have the ones that have like the multi-prong, so you can use it in different countries and it has all these different prongs. Get that one. It's more expensive, but it's so much more worth it, especially if you're like going to different places, hopping around different countries, especially in Europe where it's so easy to hop around countries. They use different plugs everywhere, so make sure that you bring your different plugs for the different places that you'll be. Also, bring a like attachable battery. I can't remember what these things are called, but I have like this thing right here. It's a case, but it's a Mophie, and so it's a battery that's on my phone. This was so clutch on my trip because we would be out all day long exploring the cities and things like that, and everybody's phone would be dying. People would be trying to find an outlet and like all that craziness. But I had this, so literally my phone I would wait for my phone to completely go to like 5%. I would cut this on, and this will charge your phone a whole like 100%. And so I would literally have two charges, like two phone charges per day, which was so amazing because I didn't have to worry about like not being able to use my phone for different pictures and video and stuff like that. So it was super awesome. And this is just super useful. I got this one at Nordstrom Rack for 60 bucks. I know usually they're like 100, but look around at like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Nordstrom Rack. Try to find ones that you can find cheaper because they're out there. Just make sure that it's like a good one. Mophie is the brand of this one, and that's a pretty popular brand. When you're choosing restaurants, first tip is to make sure that there's other people in the restaurant before you go in there, because that means that people like the restaurant versus not. Also, make sure you ask the waiter or whoever, different locals, like what's popular, what do people usually order, what kinds of food it is. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions because you need to know, and don't be that American that only eats American food when they're abroad. Like, you try to find a McDonald's or a Pizza Hut or a Subway, and it's like you're in a totally new country and a new world. Try new things. And so I would definitely open your mouth, try to communicate. As far as Europe goes, there's a lot of people who speak English, so it's really not that bad to try to find somebody who can translate or at least kind of tell you a little bit about what's on the menu. And also, Google Translate is your friend. I literally was Google translating everything. Like, anytime that I saw a menu and I didn't know what a dish was or whatever, I'd Google Translate it, I'd look on Google Images, like all that stuff, just so that I could like see what I was gonna get, and also see if I wanted to try something new that I had never had before. Okay, so you know how here in America you can like go get tap water for free or order water for free or whatever? It is not like that in a lot of places overseas. So you actually have to pay for water and things of that nature. So I would suggest bringing a water bottle with you. Now, there aren't fountains like prevalent throughout. I don't know why. I felt like Europeans don't drink as much water as we do. I don't know, because I was like thirsty, because even the drinks that you order, like if you order like a Coke or a Fanta or something, they give you these little bottles, and I'm like, okay, I just finished this glass of soda and I'm already thirsty and I have to buy another drink just to like quench my thirst. And so definitely bring like water bottle with you that you can refill on your visits, just so you have something on you to stay hydrated. And when we're talking about drinks, whatever you do, if you are of age, and of age is different in different countries, but definitely, if I can give you one tip drinking wise, order the house wine. It's always good, it's usually pretty cheap, and it will get you lit for a very low cost. And then the last but not least, be open. Do like non-tourist things and touristy things when you're abroad. You want to see how the people of that culture live, but also go to the sites and make sure that you make time to kind of see or at least just be a tourist. You know, you're abroad, you want to just explore different things. And so be open, plan for exploration time, but also plan in some strategic, like, we're gonna hit this point, and this point. Have somewhat of a schedule, because that is helpful when you're on a trip and trying to do a lot in a small amount of time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.